Hey there guys, this is Alan from the Equity Traders Academy, and this is Learn to Trade Chapter 2. Chapter 1 was a beginner's introduction. Chapter 2, we're going to be talking about time frames, stock markets, where they are, how they fit in, how time frames fit in, and this is a chapter which most traders have no clue about. Most traders don't know anything about, and this will give you a bit of an edge to understand markets, their times, and what it's all about. So without further ado, let's go and have a look. Learn to Trade Chapter 2. The Learn to Trades are falling under our academy. The link is in the bio. In the read more is at the bottom. You can go and find under Academy Learn to Trade Chapter 2. The world's stock markets. So it was very difficult for me to try and put this picture all big and huge so that you can understand it. But basically what I did is I gave you a list of the top 10 stock markets all over the world. So the New York Stock Exchange is United States of America. So we know that New York Stock Exchange sits over there because this is North America and South America. And we basically having a look at if it's 940 in New York Stock Exchange, then it would be 1440 in the London Stock Exchange, the different stock exchanges and their times. So the stock exchanges are open when it's green. They closed when it's got pink, and you can see the time that I did this. Most of them were closed. Stock exchanges have got a holiday, so it's important for you to understand which stock exchange is open. By clicking on the Learn More, it'll take you to the page where this whole page is live, and you're able to see which stock markets are open, which are closed, when they're open, when they're closed, live. So the list of the top 10 stock markets all over the world is the New York, the National Association of Security Dealers, Automated Quotations, NASDAQ, United States of America. We'll discuss more about these particular stock exchanges at a later stage, but for now, I'm wanting you to understand that there is one in America, there's one in China, there's one, the Euronext, in Europe, there's Hong Kong, Japan, China, United Kingdom, Canada. There's lots of small little stock exchanges all over the world, but these are the top 10 biggest stock markets. We've got our own in South Africa, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, based in Sandton. Apparently they might want to move it to Cape Town, but okay. We are also part of the world stock markets. Let's talk about session times. The world stock market don't all open and close at exactly the same time, based on the fact that the sun is shining in different parts of the world all over at different times. So the stock exchanges all over the world have different regulations in terms of open and close times. The list provided below of the major exchanges times opens and closes can be used as an indication of when they are operational. A trading day is split into 3 trading sessions. So when we talk about a trading day, if we're in South Africa, your trading day is from 12 o'clock midnight to 12 o'clock the next morning. I mean, it's basically your 24-hour day. And in a 24-hour day, you will have an Asian session, a London session, and a North American session. And those are the sessions that we all generally trade. Out of the 3 sessions listed above, the London session is the most liquid session. The global financial companies have an office in all 3 time zones to cope with the unexpected market moves. However, the main trading is taking place in the biggest financial centers in the respective trading sessions. So when we talk about the Asian sessions, your Asian countries are moving the markets around. They generally create the high of the day and the low of the day opening session for the UK. The UK closes, it creates an opening session. The high and the low in terms of the London session creates a high and a low, which is the opening sessions for the American session. We'll then go now and discuss each session on its own. So the Asia or the Asian session is one of the biggest economies in the world, with Japan and China open for business in these sessions. The Forex dashboard are almost all influenced by the sessions as trade between all countries exists. China is the world's manufacturer, so it makes sense that the banks will trade pairs in this session. People's Bank of China contributes to the liquidity of the overall global financial system, and its interest rate decision affects not only the yen, the Chinese currency, but also the other currencies via its implications. So USD JPY will be affected by whatever the interest rate decision is in China. Even though two of the most important economies are Asia, and the Asian trading session is the most boring one, currency pairs are not really moving, ranges are holding. So what did we say earlier? The ranges are the high of the day and the low of the day's opening is traded during the Asian session. And trading Forex in the Asian session is not fun. It generally trends up and it trends down to create the high and the low. So it's not a volatile session. There are different trading techniques that can be employed in the Asian session. In South Africa, we see the Asian sessions as setting the high and the low of the day. And should price break these highs or lows, we're likely to decide if the trend continuation. A stop hunt by the market makers or a retracement to reset direction is generally done. And we'll discuss that when we get to the market makers method. Technical indicators used during the Asian session, like trading with an oscillator, are applied at the bottom of the currency pairs chart and show overbought and or oversold levels. They are working like a charm in ranging markets. An Asian session is such a market, a ranging market. What is a ranging market? Up, down, within a range, so the resistance and support levels can be drawn or a channel can be drawn. Moreover, traders are using scalping techniques in the Asian session. Such techniques are calling for quick profits being made when the market is moving very small increment steps. The London session. By far the most important trading session is the London session. London is one of the biggest financial centers in the world, as the city is the heart of the global financial system. It is London where euro is being cleared, a business that involves hundreds of billions of euros. When it comes to forex trading, the London session is associated with the European session, as the time zone is the same. The most powerful pair trading instrument right now is the GBP, followed by the euro, which tells you exactly why the London session is so important. It is just being called the London session because London, as a financial center, is open for business. Europe is home to important currencies that make up a huge part of the forex dashboard. Important currencies come with important central banks, and this is what moves the market, the currency market. The European Central Bank, or the ECB, Bank of England, BOE, the Swiss National Bank, SNB, are other important central banks in Sweden and Norway, and all being active in the London session. Relevant economic data is released in the London session, and this matter for currencies is what the data is referring to. So the euro, the British pound, and the Swiss franc, the CHF. So any pair euro USD, GBP USD, USD CHF are all being traded heavily in the London session. When grouped with other currencies, various currency pairs are formed, and this makes the bulk part of the forex dashboard. Just a few examples are Euro GBP, GBP CHF, Euro CHF, etc. When the currencies are grouped together, the resulting currency pairs are moving when economic data is released or when the central banks are releasing monetary policy. We'll discuss fundamental analysis when we get there. The North American session. The North American session follows the London session. The North American one is the second in importance. The United States economy is the biggest economy in the world, and the US dollar is the world's reserve currency. This makes everything happening in the United States to be of vital importance for the global economy and therefore the forex market. The dollar and the American economy are supervised by the world's most powerful central bank in the world, the Federal Reserve of the United States. Jerome Powell is, as we speak right now, the most important person when it comes to the economy. The Fed is a proactive central bank, and when Fed is deciding on its monetary policy, the whole Forex dashboard is moving, no matter the currency pair. So powerful the Fed is, that important the US dollar is. The important thing to be mentioned here is that the fact that the two most important trading sessions, the London and North America one, are overlapping. This means that effectively when North America session starts, the London is still open for business. Those few trading hours are the most intensive ones, with price making larger swings around fixing times. As a trader, one should notice a decrease in trading activity, or in a way the market is moving by the time the London session closes and only the North American session is on. Telling the time in Forex sessions. Understanding trading sessions and the best time to trade is important for any Forex day trading strategy, or any other strategy for that matter. Let's understand then how to calculate this and what the factors are to consider when, for example, looking at the chart, the broker's time and the world clock time. So if you look at the bottom of the broker's page, you'll see what the clock time is and you'll know what the broker's time is. What is the international date line, the IDL? The IDL is an imaginary line on the surface of the earth. That's this red line here. Okay, it's an imaginary line on the surface of the earth which outlines the border or boundary between one day and the next day. This line is the reference point for the world's time zones, which were created to ensure a common time system. So when this line is on, then it's a daytime. Okay, this is called UTC. And as it moves, so it gains +1, +2, +3, +4, blah, blah, blah. So how is time measured? Greenwich Mean Time is the starting point of where the Earth's time zones are measured, found at the London Greenwich Observatory. The UTC, Coordinated Universal Time, took over from GMT and is time maintained via clocks in the labs located around the world. The time zone in South Africa, time zone UTC +1, depending on the daylight savings. I think we're on UTC 2 right now because we in summer, they still in winter. So how is time measured? Greenwich Mean Time is the starting point of where the Earth's time zones are measured from, at the London Greenwich Observatory. UTC, what is UTC? It's a Coordinated Universal Time, took over from GMT, and this time maintained via clocks in labs located around the world. How do I place my time in the world time? It is important to know this because of the volatility in the market on the opening and closing, as well as the indices are cash instruments during the trading time, and when the exchanges closes, they become futures. We will discuss cash and futures in the instrument section of this manual. So basically, gold, when the market is open, then gold is cash, meaning the market is open. When the market closes, it changes from cash to a future. So when you're going to go and look for gold, for example, under TradingView or under investing.com, when you go and look for, graphs, and you're putting the instrument in, you've got to have a look at, is it in cash or is it in future? Something new that you've learned, hey? So how to work this? Determine your time zone and then determine the time zone in those particular areas, time zones, and you will know which market is open at which time. So let's take a practical example using South Africa as your base, using your trading day from 8 to 10 at night. If you click on this link, it'll give you an auto time converter. The link above is what I use to get to see the exact time in the city where the stock exchange lives. So because it knows where I am, it then calculates a time difference and tells me the time in that city. So as at September 2021, New York time, South African time is 6 hours difference. So if New York opens at 9:30, I add 6 hours to that time, it's 3:30. And then I know if I'm in Joburg, New York Stock Exchange opens at 15:30, my time. I can do this for all the markets I'm interested in. Of course, there are indicators which automatically put these times on the charts for you, and these are sold under our indicators page. You can be made aware of them. However far till the session starts, however far you are into the session when the session starts to close or open. So have a look at the time zones, have a look at which markets are open when.